Good morning. May peace prevail. May peace prevail. So I'm not entirely sure what I want to talk about. I mean, I've got many different ideas and some apprehension also. I've got the desire in me to share, and I've got the curiosity if this is something that God will support and wants me to do. I wonder if doing this will be evolutionary. That's really kind of the bottom line for me, is sharing. The bottom line with sharing is if it will be evolutionary for me. It will be imperfect. I think I will finish every video and feel unsettled on some level. That you just can't say it exactly how you want to say it. You want to come from the depths, and you want to speak in an honest way, in a sincere way, and yet that drive towards authenticity can be overly perfectionistic. And so I think maybe just the thing is to start, just to do it imperfectly, and to keep going. To work through the layers of phoniness and self-criticism. Maybe. I think, again, if it's something that is conducive of growth, brings some kind of benefit to growth, some kind of is supportive of healing and of the path, then I think it is worthwhile. I feel a little bit nervous, a little bit tired. I sort of want to, I've done this video a number of times. I've been kind of playing around and trying to get a flow going the past couple of days. About the laying out a map ultimately for healing. So maybe I'll give a stab at that. Well, is that what I want to do? What do we want? What do I want in this life? Peace, truth. Peace is really the big one. It's kind of the fundamental one. Peace. And it's funny, Jesus is referred to as the Prince of Peace. I think that title would not be too foreign or too, it wouldn't be wrong to also call Buddha Prince of Peace. You know, peace seems to be kind of at the heart of healing. Now, what the hell? I'll just lay it out. So, imperfectly, not perfectly motivated, but just gonna lay it out and see what happens. So, we, who we are, we come from wholeness. Limitless, without beginning, without end, seamless, without boundary, totality, wholeness. Somehow within that wholeness somehow begins to stir within itself, and a process of individuation happens. There's a descent out of wholeness through layers of density. Descent downward through various layers of creation, becoming increasingly dense until that wholeness arrives in a life, arrives as a you, arrives as a me here on this earth. And you, so from wholeness, totality, descent down through layers of increasing density into this very dense layer of creation, relatively dense, dense layer of creation called Earth, called waking reality, this life. And that wholeness, we come into this life as image bearers and holons, is that the word? Almost like fractals, or that we carry that original wholeness. Now what happens through the passage of time, developmentally across the course of one's life, is that wholeness begins to divide. That wholeness begins to divide within itself, begins to form fissures and fracture and fragment. There's a capacity within consciousness, within that beingness, within that borderless, undifferentiated wholeness that you are. There's a capacity to form divisions, to divide. And the healing path, the healing journey, just to keep it simple, is about healing, releasing, dissolving those divisions, returning to your original wholeness. So in a sentence, that's what healing is: returning to your wholeness. Or you could say moving back in the direction of wholeness is the healing journey. And so those those divisions are, what are they? How do they form? They form through, like I said, interaction with the world. This world is a mess. It's an utter mess, chaotic, distorted, confused. All these sort of individuated aspects of God, all these human beings here on this planet, we carry within us a lot of confusion, and it kind of permeates. There's sort of an ambient level of madness. And you see this the more you endeavor to heal, that you're living in an insane asylum on some level. And so we're sort of vectors. We become vectors almost for these patterns of dysfunction. And so through interaction with people in our lives primarily, and just through the almost osmosis, that's not quite the right word, through interaction with our world, especially when we're young children and we don't have sophisticated psychology, we're just open, and we absorb, and we don't know how to process emotions and process difficult experiences. There is a capacity within consciousness when we have a difficult experience and we're being socialized and trying to perform the duties of being human and trying to live up to other people's expectations, and so we adopt these certain postures and ways of being, trying to, as we grow up and undergo this process of socialization and interacting with people, we have difficult experiences emotionally that we're not able to process. And so consciousness, our being, in order to keep moving forward, in order to keep a somewhat functional, order to maintain some level of functionality, it moves those experiences to the periphery. So we're young, we're going through life, we have a crappy experience. We don't know how to metabolize that experience, and so what we do is we push it, we relegate it to the shadows. We push it out of the conscious mind, off of the screen of conscious awareness. We move it to the unconscious or the semi-conscious. We move it out of conscious awareness. Now that, one analogy for that is like on a computer screen, you have different apps running, and if you want to access the desktop to, open up something new or to maneuver within your computer, your laptop, or your cell phone, open up a new app, just clear off the apps you have, you can hit the minimize tab. So that's what we do with these experiences. It's like we hit the minimize tab, and so we can see the home page or the desktop. Now those apps are still running, they're still sapping energy. They haven't gone anywhere, you've just moved them out of view. And it happens automatically. It's not really a conscious process. It's how things are designed. And you could say there's an intelligence to it. I personally would not want to say that too strongly, but It allows for us to move forward and to have some kind of to be able to do the daily tasks of living, to go to work, to go to school, to, it's remarkable, especially as you scratch under the surface and you start to break into, you start to wake up, sort of don't want to say it that way, but you start to heal. You just realize, man, we're carrying around so much shit inside of us. There's so many layers. But in order to keep those experiences and emotions at bay, it's sort of like pushing a beach ball under the water, holding a beach ball under the water. Our consciousness forms these sort of like membranes, energetic psychic membranes, to cordon off, what's the word I'm looking for here? Partition that material. That material is shadow. That's your shadow. And the healing process is about addressing, coming into contact, and through contact, through bringing attention, really, well, there's kind of two ways to say that. But the healing process is about dissolving those partitions, those boundaries, those inner divisions, allowing, there's sort of two phases. I don't know if now's the right point to say this, but I may go back and flesh this out, but there's two phases, two approaches you can kind of toggle between. One is sort of a passive approach of allowing for this stuff to surface, sort of, metaphorically, it would be the removing of the hands off of the beach ball, letting that stuff surface, come to the surface. And that's more of a passive allowing, and there's a more active going into the material, a more active sort of digging in, or it's in a sense, another metaphor is that of the archaeological dig. So digging through these layers, actively seeking out, finding these nodes, finding these divisions in consciousness and working to dissolve them. But just to keep it simple, the map is from division, descent into form, out of formlessness into form, and that wholeness begins to divide within itself. The journey back, the journey of healing is moving back towards wholeness. So that's the overview. And it's useful, I find it useful to have, to have the whole map, the overview of the process, in order to orient oneself and to figure out, am I moving in a useful way? We are children of God, ultimately. We're children of God, and in the Christian context, they talk about being made in the image and likeness of God, and that is that process, that wholeness, that original wholeness, your being and God's being, one being. There's no division between that. And it's like you're the drop coming from this great ocean, this infinite ocean. The drop is not the ocean. The drop can't say, I'm the entire ocean. But it's not different from the ocean. The essence is the same. everything that the ocean is essentially is everything that the drop is essentially. Um, so let me stop this video here so I have separate uploads.